Have you ever wanted to hide? You want to help, but you have to take care of your family first. Maybe this next paycheck I can support causes I love. Tell me, how does this sound? You shop, click a picture of a receipt, and pick someone you support while shopping for your family. Well, check out communitypayitforward.us. Hover your mouse here. Click on the Verified Given Partner button and shop with any partner that will satisfy your needs. Grab the receipt because every time you shop, a Community Pay It Forward mission partner receives anywhere from 80 to 90% of a referral. You can find the mission partners by going right here. Each mission has a QR code so you can upload your receipt. And that's it. Shop, click, and pick. Join the program. You shop with small businesses and support great people. Great people who need a little help. Or help to support the great people doing great things. Because with Community Pay It Forward, you don't have to hide anymore. Community Pay It Forward knows every small business is essential. Wonderful evening, everyone. How you doing? Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. Wow. I just changed around my camera a little bit before the show, so now it's kind of amazing. Funny story here. I bought a computer in October of last year. In November of last year, I got what was called BitLocked, and I could not get it off of my computer. So I had to go back to using my old computer until 2 days ago when I finally got that BitLock done. My warranty on this computer is gone, and it's been sitting on another desk for the entire year because I couldn't get anybody to fix it. Finally got somebody to, well, actually I fixed it. I figured out how to do it. I threatened to beat the hell out of it is what happened. No, that wasn't it. It kind of looked at me and goes, I'm not doing nothing for you. But anyway, finally got the new computer, so new setup, and it looks to me like you guys get to see a lot more of my background, my Egyptian stuff, and all the wine tasting. Look at that, Stephanie. You actually get to see that wine tasting thing back there. So we are the first Wednesday of the month. The first day and first Wednesday of the month, which means that I get to bring on one of my favorite people in the world, a huge part of Community Pay It Forward in every facet, a great friend, and just a support person that I honestly don't know if I'd be here without her, to be honest. So she is working her butt off right now. She's bacheloretting it while the hubby's out fixing up the homestead. Miss Stephanie Simoes. How you doing, sweetie?
So funny. I love that. I'm doing really well, and it's not quite bacheloretting when you've got a bunch of kids home with you, but yeah. Hey, we're making the best of it here.
Yeah. Hey, look at this, Stephanie. How you doing, Stephanie? We hope you're really feeling well and I need to get a hold of you because I think we're going to do something special next month, and we're going to try to um, uh, do like a best of, I think, next month instead of going live.
I love
Since
it. Hi, Steph.
since we've got that weird holiday or something season coming up, so all I can think of is more snow. We've got snow here in Colorado, so
I know it's
but
coming. It's gotten colder here, but you have some other events coming up too, Zach.
I do. We've got we are just a month and 2 days away from the chili cook-off and poker for pediatrics, where we're uh, we're we're trying to get people to take and do something special for our kids in hospitals.
I love that.
These books, not particularly this book, any book for a kid, we're asking you to take and drop them off. What we're asking you to do, though, is make sure that you sign the inside cover. Sign it with your family name, as Stephanie has here. And it also says, and I love this, at New Heights Homestead. And then on the bottom of it, it says, to our little hero. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to drop this book along with any other books that we get off at all 8 Northern Colorado hospitals. And that way, whenever there's a child that shows up, they get a new book. And while they're going through something that is a very, very tough time in their life, they're going to have something to remember, because you as a neighbor, you as a caring person gave them a book. It's something that we've had a lot of good luck with. And it's something that, I mean, you look around. I'm not a reader. Okay. I'm not a good reader. I listen to books all day long, either books or podcasts or whatever. I'm listening to them all day long. But I've still got books that I have taken the time to read, no matter how long ago they are, 20, 30, 40 years. I've still got the Bible that my great-great-grandfather gave me. Get this story. He used to be a moonshine runner.
Get out.
And then he ended up turning into a priest. And so he bought me a Bible, and it still sits in a very, very special box that my best friend in the world created for me after my accident. It still sits in there, very protected, and it's one of my most prized possessions, and I get really edgy whenever anybody touches it, because I got that when I was like 8 years old, and now I'm closer to 80 than I am 8. And I'm like, don't touch that. I don't know if it's going to fall apart or not. So.
Well, I love what you're doing with the book, Zach. And I've spoken openly on here, about our medical challenges, and the time when we were in the hospital, that little care package meant the world. So you guys donate a book.
Yeah. And the truth is that, look, we love Children's Hospital, and I don't want anybody to get me wrong here. And I'm going to flat out say it. You know what? If you're in a place that has a children's hospital, take and grab a bunch of books and do it. Donate them to them. That's fine. But the reason why we do this with our Northern Colorado hospitals, Steph, is because, you know what? We don't want to forget our kids that aren't sick enough to need the children's hospital. Maybe a kid just goes in because, God forbid, they broke an arm or something.
Yeah.
They're still scared. They're still in there, and it's still not a place that they want to be. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that they have something. And I am imploring, please steal this idea from us. But let us know you're doing it so we can help promote where you've got drop boxes, because we're going to do this. Let's do this together. If you don't want to steal it, if you want to help, if you want to put our name on it, we will send you the Cub Club logo and everything, and you can put that out there and say, hey, you know what? We're working with Community Pay It Forward and Stephanie and Jeff, and we're going to work together, and we're going to do this, and we're going to try to help out some kids that, this is a scary time for them. But the other lesson that we're teaching these kids, which is vitally important, Stephanie, is how much fun it can be to help someone else.
Right.
And I think that I think that truly is the most important lesson that one of the most important lessons to teach kids, because you're also teaching kids, you know what? People are worth helping. So, and then the other thing that we've just recently announced is it's coming. February is coming. And you know what happens on February 22nd? And that's the 22-hour podcast for veteran suicide. So we have that coming up, and we're looking to get all 22 hours sponsored. We're going to have, we're looking for 10 veteran nonprofits, actually 8, because we're already working with our great friend Bart. You know, we couldn't work without Bart. Okay. You know, Bart's going to be in there. But we're also working with somebody that you and I are intimately familiar with, Mr. Dennis Schroeder. He's the second one.
So happy.
Yeah. And those are 2 of them. And every time that we get a sponsor, half of that sponsorship is going to go to buying promotional material, like website advertisements and newspaper and radio ads and stuff like that, so we can really spread the word. The other half is going to go donated to these 8 or 10 organizations. So we're really needing your help. And then you, as a public, we're hoping that maybe you will come on and you will help us by donating $1 or $2 or whatever. Or better yet, shopping with our friends in the Community Pay It Forward family. Because when you do that and you turn in your receipt, 80 to 90% of every time you shop, they give us a referral. 80 to 90% throughout February. If you don't specify that it's going somewhere, 80 to 90% will go to those 10 nonprofits. I got 8 stuck in my head now. So, plus my dog is trying to gas me out of my office again. Jeez. So
I always get so excited when I hear about this show. And it's that time again, and it's truly an impactful time. So I can't wait to tune in and hear from them.
You know, you guys have helped me out so much with this. And the one thing about that show is yes, very gross doggy. Absolutely, Stephanie, the very, very gross doggy. He's a beautiful, beautiful animal, but boy, he's got problems. But the stories that we've heard the last 2 years, there's been some that make me fall off my chair laughing. And there's others that I can barely keep it together because they're so sad. Last year, we talked to a lady who 2 months prior to the show, she found her very best friend in the world who had shot herself. And last year's show was extremely tough for me because my cousin ended her life 1 month before that show. And quite honestly, it's stories like those, and it's the feelings, those feelings and those, that pain that led to our wonderful program, Footprints Forward.
I was just going to say, you took that emotion and you rolled that into doing something positive to really impact more people and help them. And Footprints Forward was born. So,
yep.
and it's just growing from here. So I'm excited to see all of this come together.
Yep. Well, I am so excited. And if you would like to, anybody would like to donate to, want to donate books, want more information, would you like to sponsor 2Save22, that QR code over Stephanie's head, that's how you can get a hold of me. That is my card. All you got to do is scan that. All the information you need is right on that thing. It's got the big fat head on it. That's what I call it, kind of taken off of the Third Rock from the Sun thing. Oh, that was something funny. The other day, I was on a video conference, and I went from looking like because, you know, I don't want to say going bald, but my hair is running south for the winter. I was sitting there looking, and all of a sudden I really, really looked like John Lithgow from that show. Okay. The hair that I have is like standing up on end, and I had the horseshoe going, and I'm like going, oh my God. And then I started to brush it over, and then I realized how fat that Jack Ritter was getting. I don't know what was going on that day, but you know.
You're full of jokes tonight. Oh my gosh. We better get this thing started or else.
Yeah, we better get going. Well, I'll tell you why. My wife, my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful bride, Adrian, just got approved, and we go on Saturday, in which I can't do nothing about it. I think this is the mean part in her. There's no way I can do anything about it, but she just got approved to get me back on two wheels, and that is very important to me. That is like psychiatry 101 for me. So, you know, there's a shot that well, first off, I get to go and talk to Theron, the guy who does the theme song. I get to go and talk to him on Saturday because he's going to sell me this motorcycle. Of course, he's going to have to ride it to my house because I can't do nothing about it for 4 more weeks.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. That's really exciting. That's like full circle, Zach, from everything that you've been through and the impact you've made from your experience. That's exciting. I can't wait to hear more.
Well, I got, you know, like I said, I gotta credit Adrian for this. You know, she took it upon herself, and she just sent me a text a little bit ago, and she goes, you know, I'm more excited than I should be for this. And I'm like, yeah, you ought to see me right now. So, but Stephanie, we are running a little bit over here, and we've got a great guest. But why don't you go on ahead and tell us about yourself, please?
Sure. So if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. Zach and I absolutely love doing this monthly show where we get to bring on smaller nonprofit organizations and spread their message to more people and how, you know, they can be helped and supported. I am a cause entrepreneur with ONEHOPE Wine. So we are the wine that gives back. And, you know, all month long and even past this month, if you choose to support Hydro with Hope, you can just select them as the cause that you're supporting, and you can refill your wine rack. You can gift. You can, you know, send gifts across the country that are going to really make an impact for this cause. Yeah, from beautiful gifts, from, you know, special occasion bottles to your everyday drinking wine. It's all award-winning Napa Valley wine, and it donates and gives back at the same time. So I just love sharing about it because it's nice to know when you pour a glass that you're making an impact for a cause that's important to you.
Yeah. And again, that is one of the reasons why you and I connected so well, is because you said a key word in there. Causes important to you.
Yes.
So, not us.
Right.
It's to you.
Right. And that's what I love most because, you know, through the ONEHOPE Foundation, we do support, you know, ending hunger, education, clean water, all of those things. But essentially, you're making a double donation with every single bottle of wine. You're not only supporting, you know, water, hunger, health, and education through the ONEHOPE Foundation, but also the cause of your choice, which, of course, this month, Hydro with Hope, I can't wait to hear more from Jeff about the organization.
This is an amazing story. Tell us really quickly about your homestead.
Oh boy,
that Paul is out there freezing his butt off right now too.
Well, it's warmer there than it is here, but so we have kind of come full circle with, you know, homestead has been on the mind for over 13 years now, and it's become more and more fitting for our life to really, you know, have that lifestyle. I think our turning point really was when we faced medical issues with our kids. So like their diet changed and, you know, all the things. So I think that that's fitting for us from a medical standpoint, for our family. But the last few years, in working in the nonprofit space, I've learned a lot about our veterans and the homelessness crisis. And so we kind of started that mission here in Pennsylvania, and we're going to be continuing it in West Virginia when we get down there. You know, I've kind of found some spots that I think would be really appropriate for, little cabins for veterans that are close to VA hospital, walking to shopping, things like that. And we've kind of turned our, retirement plan, instead of just having a rental, to how about a rental for a veteran instead, and putting up more homes in that way. So he's really talented. I don't have the handy talents he does, but we can literally take something that's falling down and turn it into something beautiful that's, great for somebody, living alone, and all kinds of situations that we've found. So we're really excited for it.
I think he would disagree with you. I think that you have that talent too, because all you have to do is tell him, Paul, go do this, and he's going to do it, and he's going to tell you that you have him. So
I can take a room and kind of say, hey, this should go here, this should go here, this should go here. Okay, what do you think? And then he brings it to life. So I can't take credit for the life part in it all, but
yep,
pretty good team.
So, and you can always follow everything that they've got going on, this journey from beginning to end, on your YouTube channel.
Right. New Heights Homestead is the YouTube channel, and you can find it on our link tree. We're kind of documenting the process because we're actually going to move there without having a house yet in the spring. So that's going to be interesting, but we can't wait to just have, the food grown right there naturally, and be able to share that with our community, be able to donate things, off of the homestead, eggs, things like that. I think we've talked about that before. I'd love to just have that ability to be able to help a little bit more in those situations. And with some of the incredible organizations that we work with too, Zach. I want to be able to help a little bit more. So that's what we're working on.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, we're going to go on ahead and bring him on before he takes off and runs from us again, because he scared me a minute ago. I thought he was like going, you know what? I'm tired of hearing Zach talk. I'm done. I met Jeff a couple weeks ago. It was actually our guest last month, Stephanie, who introduced me to Jeff. And they had connected. Stephanie had been on Jeff's show, which we'll be talking about here real soon. And then Jeff and I had a great conversation. See, Jeff and I have something very, very, very closely in common, that we both suffer with head injuries. And so we sat down for a 30-minute conversation, and an hour and a half later, we're like going, damn, where the hell did the time go? It was seriously like that. And then we had another conversation about a week later, and it was another hour, and time just flew by. And it's because when it comes to brain injuries, talking to somebody who is somewhat similar, if you understand what I'm saying, makes it so much easier, because, no brain injury is alike, not a single one. And, but every brain injury has similarities, if that makes any sense to you. But Jeff started a wonderful, wonderful program, Hydro with Hope, to try to help people with hydro. And well, here he is, Mr. Jeff Pearson. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, thank you.
I want to bring you on instead of just trying to. Yeah, it's great to see you. So people may not understand what hydrocephalus is. Did I say that right? Hydrocephalus?
You're close. Hydrocephalus.
It's hydrocephalus. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
So, but yeah, it's a condition in which fluid accumulates in the brain. And your story is that you had it as a child. Then it started to curb a little bit, and then it came back later on in life.
Well, sort of. It's almost there. So I was born with it, and it's never gone away. Hydrocephalus isn't something that ebbs and flows. It's always there. What ebbs and flows is your management of it. So when I was born, they do all the regular measurements, and one of those is a head measurement. And then at the 2-week checkup, they do all the same measurements. And at the 2-week checkup, my head measurement was a little bigger than it should have been. So they said, CAT scan, let's just see what's going on. It's probably nothing, but let's check it out. and they found that one of my ventricles in my brain was blocked, not draining the fluid like it should have been. And so the solution in 1977, which is very similar to what the solution is in 2023, is to put a shunt in, which involves major brain surgery. And so that's what they did. So I've had a shunt back here behind my right ear since I was 2 weeks old in one form or another. And that's what basically kept me alive. And and I've had 7 brain surgeries since then. My 7th brain surgery was in October of 2021. And it's every time you have a surgery, revision to revise the shunt, or replace it, it's not to cure anything, it's to maintain. So if they just took the shunt out and didn't replace it, I wouldn't be around very long. So but I'm so thankful that it's there, and that the technology was there. I mean, shunts have been around for decades. I'm just glad the technology was there and they caught it in time, so that it wouldn't be too severe. So, yeah.
I love the story that you tell about the reason why you started Hydra with Hope, and it's because you were in a doctor's office and you overheard parents getting this news, and I want to say this devastating news that their child had, but it's not devastating, and you've proven that.
Not necessarily. I mean, it can be. It can really hit you like a boot in the face at first. It can be shocking. I mean, I can only imagine what went through my parents' head when they found out that their 2-week-old little boy was going to have brain surgery. But it would have been interesting to be a fly on the wall. But yeah, that story is kind of what kicked off the idea for Hydra with Hope. I've had 4 brain surgeries since 2014 for this shunt replacement, and the one in 2018, you're right. I was sitting with my wife in the doctor's office waiting for the doc to come in to tell us, his CAT scan went well or whatever, talk about the follow-up. And, you're waiting there. It's inevitable. You're always waiting for the doctor. So I'm waiting there, and we're kind of overhearing the conversation on the other side of the wall, and didn't hear the words, but I kind of heard the tone of it. You can kind of hear the rumblings of a conversation, and it was not great. You could tell they were distraught. You could tell they were kind of upset. And my imagination kind of ran away with itself. And I kind of thought, man, I wonder if that's parents finding out that their little baby's going to have brain surgery for the first time. And I thought, oh man. And that flashed me back to wondering what my parents might have been thinking at that time. And it just got me at that. I don't know why it didn't before, but it did that day. And so on the way home from that appointment, I looked at my wife, Catherine, and said, I wonder what we can do about that. What could we do? Because all I wanted to do was run next door to that next room and give them a hug, answer their questions, and tell them it was going to be okay. But HIPAA doesn't like that. You don't do that in a doctor's office, so they don't.
Busting into somebody else's room and go, I'm so sorry.
They first off, would have asked me to leave and never come back if I'd have done that. So I didn't do it. But I just wanted to go in there and reassure them, and show them. I mean, I'm 40, whatever year that was, 2018. So that was 5 years ago. So I'm 41 years old. I've made it through. It's not a death sentence, guys. Let's talk about it, And so we decided to do something. We just didn't know what it was going to be yet.
Stephanie, this is really a great segue into you, because of the things that you've had to learn with your son's affliction.
That, and Zach, you don't know about this, but my mom and my grandmother both had to undergo brain surgery. So whoa. I don't know. I'm sure there are differences with the procedures and things. So that was one thing I was going to ask is, how are those procedures for you, being that you have to, go back and readjust and revisit it over and over again?
It's kind of crazy because it's different every single time. it's just to recap the last 4 real quick. In 2014, I had to have 2 within 24 hours. And I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks because I had somehow introduced a bacterial infection to my cerebral spinal fluid, which can really be devastating if it makes it to the brain. It was actually gathered in my pocket in my abdomen. So they had to do emergency surgery to cut it off so that it wouldn't get to the brain and replace everything so that it would be clean, And then in 2018, it was the only surgery I've ever had that wasn't an emergency surgery. The scar tissue in my abdomen kind of sealed off a pocket of fluid that wouldn't reabsorb either. And so that I had to get that replaced then. And then this last time in 2021, they had to replace it because the little piece that goes from the shunt through the skull into the ventricle inside the brain was almost 100% clogged. And so it wasn't letting any fluid out. And so they had to replace it then. So it really just depends. I mean, it's really kind of a crapshoot. What's going to necessitate a surgery next time,
I just love how calm you are about it and reassuring and wanting to spread that message. This is the first time I'm hearing about this entirely. The 2 situations I mentioned are completely different. But anytime you're touching the brain, that's your whole functioning system,
It's a big deal.
What Zach was referencing was a medical condition called PANDAS or PANS, where, inflammation affects an area of the brain, the basal ganglia. So that's something a little bit different, but yeah, we've had some head stuff in our family. So I know my grandmother had to go in twice because they weren't able to do an MRI on her because of a cochlear implant for her hearing. And so after getting a CAT scan after her first procedure, they had to reopen her up, and she was not thrilled the second time around.
No.
So
so
much power to you for
I can relate. In 2014, they were really intending only to do 1 surgery, but the little tiny piece that goes from the shunt through that hole in the skull and into the ventricle just didn't get in the exact right spot. And so they said, so I woke up from surgery and said, nope, it's not quite right. So they said, okay, well, go back to sleep for a few more hours and we'll try it again. And so I mean, not really. That's not literally what they said, but it was kind of like, okay, well, let's give it another shot. And of course they got it right. They got it right perfect in the right spot the second time. But I did not plan on being under anesthesia for 8 hours within 48 hours. That was not the plan.
Yeah, that's not too healthy.
No, it's not great.
That's for sure.
I wouldn't recommend it. Anybody.
9 out of 10 doctors don't recommend that, and the other doctor's still drunk. So,
and the other one's probably under anesthesia. Yeah.
Right. So, and Stephanie, here's where a Hydro with Hope really comes in, because one of the things that they do, one of the main things that Jeff does is, because every surgery is so different, the journal that you see there is one of the things that they try to get out. Jeff, please tell Stephanie and everyone else about the journal and the importance of the journal. We'll start there, but then we're going to really concentrate on this page.
No, I appreciate that. No, so actually I had one with me. I happen to have one.
Okay.
So this journal is something that I'm convinced God planted the idea in my brain a couple of years ago. And because there's no way I could have come up with this good of an idea myself. So we said, well, okay, what's out there to actually, as a practical tool, because a lot of hydrocephalus support organizations do a lot of research and do a lot of fundraising for better devices or more research or more whatever. I was like, that's above my pay grade. I'm boots on the ground kind of guy. I want to do something for the parents in the next room. I want to do something that I can walk up to somebody and hand them something tangible and not say, well, maybe we'll get enough funds to fix it next year, And so this journal is what we came up with. And there's nothing else like this anywhere that I have been able to find. And what it is a fill in the blank journal that walks you all the way through from, the first fill in the blank page is this, here's my name, and here's, here's where I'm having surgery, and here's my neurosurgeon. And then it kind of walks you through the process of having that surgery and the recovery and the going home afterwards and carrying on with life beyond that. And there's a lot of blank pages in there for kind of information and emotional download, because it's an emotional thing. It's a big deal. And so there's a lot of blank pages. And then there's also a little spot in the back. There's several pages for medical record keeping, because let's be honest, because of the placement of the shunt. I don't know if anybody knows about the geography of the brain, but back here is where the short-term memory lives. And so the more you go poking around in there and hacking around with brain surgery, the worse it gets. And so us folks, us hardware warriors, don't always have the greatest short-term memories. And so it's important to write it down. And the one other thing that I'm very excited about that I don't know if you can see it, this little blank spot right here.
Here, let me do this real quick, Jeff. I want people to definitely see that. So do me a favor and right, show that again.
So there's the journal, front and back, and then on a spine right here in this little blank spot right here, it looks like a mistake. Looks like we left off the blue, but we didn't. I fought for that. I did that on purpose. And the reason I did that is because the idea is to have one of these for each surgery. And so you can put a date there, or you can put surgery number 1, 6, 20, 30, whatever. And then when you're going to your next doctor appointment, your next follow-up from the previous surgery, you're looking at the bookshelf going, oh, there's the most recent one. Take it with you. You've got it. You've got all the information right there. So that was the idea. I know it's small, but I felt like it was important. So,
well, I personally, I don't think it's all that small. I think it's a fantastic idea. And to be honest with you, Jeff, I think this is something that a guy who's been through a surgery or two, having books like that is so important, because you can't remember everything that's been said to you. And especially when they're talking about your brain, Stephanie, and you're talking, you're dealing with something like your son. What do you think of that journal?
I love that. And I will say, hearing from other parents during our really difficult time, like you creating this, those parents were my lifeline, because they understood where we were.
Yeah.
So you creating that is like the world. And I love that blank spot, because it's like, hope that there's going to be a next procedure, because that person's going to be around for that next procedure. Right. So I love that. And I know I was scrambling, making notes on the notepad on my phone, starting a Google Doc, trying to save this to a folder on my computer. And I know it was very difficult to keep my notes in order when we were going from specialist to specialist. So I think that is wonderful. So you guys give those out.
Right. We can, I mean, if somebody wants to, buy, one or a chunk or whatever, so that they can hand it out, great. If you're able to afford to buy one, great. If not, we're able to, because of funding, of course, we're always working on more of that, but, we're in fact, we just, this is so awesome. I don't think I've ever I haven't told anybody this yet. And so so here you go. One of the people in here, in fact, one of the cool things about this journal is we have quotes in here from people with hydrocephalus that we've befriended on Facebook. This is one of my favorite people on Facebook, man, Daryl Allen. He's awesome. But there's also another person in here named Dr. Benjamin Worf. And he is an absolute godsend. He has been in the medical field he's like part of Harvard Medical School. He's at Boston Children's practicing. He's incredible. And we have 2 quotes from him in here, and we sent him one, and he loved it. And he said, how do I get some for the people in my hospital? So I just sent him a link with a, good discount and whatever, and he's gonna go for it. And so some of the kids that he's treating are now gonna have the opportunity to have one of these, and I'm so excited about that. So That's like the first connection we've had with a major organization with these journals. So I'm so excited where this could go.
You know what, Jeff? You just said something that kind of got my wheel spinning. Okay, you've got my shiny squirrel's attention right now, and I think that maybe if we could take and try to drive. We were just talking about the book drive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we try to get some of these people to maybe go to your website, and maybe this could be the book that they would donate?
Hey,
Could you imagine the relief that would be for a parent? I mean, I think that's I think
that's kind of the idea that's kind of how I envisioned it, is having these available in the hospitals and then being able to just give one to a family that needs it, and not have to, I mean, let's be honest, man, you understand as well as I do, Zach, brain surgery is not cheap, right?
No.
So every 10, 20 bucks that you can save on not having to buy a thing, if they were just here and the nurse, just imagine a nurse coming in the hospital room going, and by the way, since you just had surgery for hydrocephalus, I have this gift for you.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome. You're going to love this. Start checking it out. That could make all the difference. So.
And imagine giving that, putting that into the hands of mom and dad, and mom and dad could sit there and do some of those activities with the child, get the brain working again, because that's another, that's so important to get the brain working again, because, the brain's sitting there. Look, the brain's just as confused as you are. I mean, the brain's sitting there going, what are you doing to me?
Yeah.
I
know.
So,
I know. I mean, it's crazy. And I'm looking through here, and this is one of the fun things that you could do with especially if you have a little, a young child. There's spots like this where you can either print a picture, take a picture of what's this page. Some of my favorite nurses, PAs, or medical professionals who help me are, and then you can either draw a picture or print out a picture, put it in here. Because some of these kids, maybe they're 2 years old, they don't remember everything right now, but they pull this off the shelf 10 years later and go, oh, I remember that nurse. She was really cool. I'm glad you got that picture in there, or my drawing of her, or whatever, just practical stuff, it's, anything to help remember, to jog that memory.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't know why that was something that I hadn't thought of before, but I mean, right here, this is a great idea, because you can support this. And look, the truth is that one of Jeff's plans is to where he can start just giving these books away.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's hard for you as a person in a nonprofit, Jeff, to have to charge people for this. I know. Right. I know that every time, and we mentioned him earlier, that every time Bart has to tell somebody from a different area in the country, I'm sorry, we can't afford to do that. As a nonprofit, that sucks, because that's not what you're doing this for. You're doing this as a support system for these people. So, yeah. And Stephanie, I am so happy that you're sticking around and you're joining us. And I think that maybe on the 15th, I think that maybe you joining us would be a great thing. So I'm just going to throw this out. If you can join us on the 15th, that would be fantastic. Just let me know about that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. And again, it's somebody, we're all familiar with each other. Jeff, you've had her on your show. Yeah. That was one of the other things that we want to get into, but hydrocephalus occurs in 2 out of every 1,000 births in the United States. It is not known how many people develop it after birth. Approximately 125,000 persons are living with cerebral spinal fluid shunts, and that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And 33,000 shunts are placed annually in the United States. So that's where we're looking at with the numbers on that.
It's I've the statistic that I've heard that I have in the book that I printed in the book from the Hydrocephalus Association is 1 out of every 770 babies born is born with hydrocephalus, and so that's pretty close.
Yeah.
And so that's over 400,000 babies born a year that are in this boat, and so I mean, so that's that many families are impacted every single year, and that's not to mention you could acquire hydrocephalus in many different ways in your adulthood as well. I mean, you know, if you get a bad enough case of meningitis, you could acquire it. If you get a good enough bump on the head, you could acquire it. If you know, there's several injuries and conditions that don't seem related, but can be and can cause it as well. So those statistics are hard to track because you just don't know how many people are walking around with it really. The births are easy. You know, the little babies are easy to track, but yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, Stephanie, this is exciting that we're going to get
Love
to
it.
welcome you back and talk about this. I know that one of the reasons why this is exciting is because I know that you are going to be soon appearing on The Invisible Condition for a second time. Jeff, please tell us about The Invisible Condition.
So, Invisible Condition is a TV show that I host every Tuesday and every Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And it's a 1-hour show, and it's on E360 TV is the platform. It's an online platform. And so that's my time slot. It's a TV station. So my time slot is 10 a.m. Mountain Time every Tuesday and Friday. And so yeah, we come on, we bring on guests and organizations, individuals and organizations that are living and thriving with conditions that you can't see from the outside, whether that's hydrocephalus. We've had a few people with hydrocephalus. But then also everything else. I mean, fibromyalgia, schizophrenia, bipolar, ADHD, I mean, I don't know. I have a list that we have written down of all the conditions we've had on, and it's extensive and it's crazy. And some of them are rare. We had one person that was on that had some sort of form of some degenerative something that affects 2 out of every million people in the country. So there's less than 1,000 people in the whole country with this. So, you know, but she is amazing, and her name's Angie, and she wrote a book which we talked about on the show, and she's working on a second one, so she's going to be on the show again because she's got a second book coming. So I absolutely love having people on talking about this because it's honestly telling your story is therapeutic, and telling your story can help you to know that you're not alone. I mean, at the beginning of every show, I say a little blurb, and it goes something like, you know, we did this show because we wanted everybody with an invisible condition to know that they have a voice, they have a community, and they're not alone. And that's the aim, you know, because so many of us, especially when it's invisible, you think, oh, nobody else. I mean, is this in my head? Is this happening to me, or am I imagining this? Because nobody else is dealing with this, when in reality, there's probably millions of people dealing with it. You just haven't met them yet.
Stephanie, that's one of the things that we talk about on Footprints Forward all the time. It's like, you know, there's a lot of times when you feel like you're the only one that's dealing with it. But the truth is that there are people out there who have dealt with it. It's just different because it's never happened to you. That's not discounting what you're saying. That's absolutely not trying to make light of what you're feeling.
No.
But that's the reason why stories are so important.
Exactly.
Right. Breaking the silence on it.
Yeah. And I'm so excited that we've had the organizations on that we have too, because that's equally as important, because that gives people a lifeline sometimes, you know, like there's all kinds of organizations we've had. We had the National Hydrocephalus Association on in June. We had a place called Next Step that helps people transition from high school to college that have maybe a debilitating condition. Hearts Need Art. Oh my gosh, if you guys haven't checked them out, they believe that everybody that comes in the hospital, especially if they're coming in for something serious, like they're going to be there for a while, should be assigned a doctor, a medical team, and an artist. And so they come in, and sometimes they'll paint the window of the person, so that they've got a pretty scene to look at, or they'll do a music project with them or an art project. Or it's just, there's so many out there that we just got to get the word out for. And so I feel like I honestly believe that God has saved me out of a lot of things that I could have experienced over my lifetime that could have had me end up worse off than I am taking medication or not being able to live on my own or something like that. And I feel like he has saved me from a lot of that in order to be able to give me this opportunity to be able to help give a voice to people who don't normally have one, and get the word out and get the help to people that need it. And it's just, I don't take that lightly. And I realize that's a big deal. And I don't discount anybody who is in that condition. That is, you are fighting your own battle too. I get it. But I feel like I would be wasting a gift that was given to me if I didn't do this. So
yeah, well, I know that I know that I highlighted this the last time that we talked. This comment means a lot to me. His brain is now easily overwhelmed by situations that are no big deal for most of us, and that's
Right.
just it's really one of those things that we talked a lot about that last month, that just because you don't see it, just because you've never experienced it, doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah.
Stephanie, did you have any other questions?
No,
or
I can relate to a lot of things that you're saying from a different angle with the invisible illness. So
Yeah.
I feel for this whole conversation going on right now.
Well, and honestly, if anybody wants more information or anybody wants to reach out, I am more than happy to. Yeah, thanks, Zach. That's exactly what I was going to say. Jeff at hydrowithhope.com. And that is the best way to get a hold of me. And if honestly, if anybody wants to tell their story, hit me up. I mean, email me, let me know, tell me. Let's schedule a call to chat, and let's see if maybe we can have you on the show and you can get the word out, man. It's just an amazing platform, and the people just, I mean, everybody that I've been on that get to tell their story that never thought they really had a story. It's eye-opening to them, and it's just so cool to watch as the show progresses, how comfortable they get and how bold they get about telling their story. And I love that.
It works a lot better when their internet stays working too. But yeah, this little button right here is your pathway to, being able to tell your story and share your story with people. So we are going to move now to the Goddess of the Grape, and we're going to let her do what she does best, and that's tell us how throughout this month, you can raise money for Jeff. Well, I guess we can't do it if I take her off the screen. Let's take that off the screen.
Where'd she go?
But you can raise money for Jeff and everything that he's doing, and let's try to get these books to where they can be given away.
Are there any other ways, Jeff, that people can support? Through the books, yes. Through the fundraiser, great. But are there any other ways, that someone who might be watching might be able to help you?
So they can straight up donate and go to hydrowithhope.com, and there's a donate button. You can just straight up donate. It's tax deductible because we are a 501c3. You can do that. I'd like to say we're in the midst of working on recurring donations, but that's a complicated thing. But the other thing that honestly that kind of in a roundabout supports us is if you know of anybody that wants to get the word out about their business or wants to support the TV show in a way through sponsorship or advertising, that will also kind of backdoor, support Hydro with Hope as well, and keep the TV show on the air longer, and we'd be able to probably provide more resources that way as well. So yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, and there's also, this way.
That too.
Jeff, Hydro with Hope is a community pay it forward mission partner. We are so proud to be just a small part of what they're doing. All you got to do is scan that QR code, the one with the Hydro with Hope logo in it, and shop with any of our partners. When you shop with one of our partners, if you want to support Jeff and you want to support everything that they're doing, trying to help people deal with this, because I'm going to tell you something. Dealing with any injury sucks. It truly, truly does. But I hope, it is my hope that you never, ever in your life have to deal with a head injury. But it's a different animal. It truly is. It's a different animal because you don't know. And Jeff, I said this to you, and I've said this to anybody that'll listen. You break your arm, they're going to put me in a cast. They're going to put you in a cast, or sling. There we go, an immobilizing sling, and I just shoved my arm up in the air. They're going to do this for me, for you, for Stephanie, for all of us. They're not going to do that with the brain. Okay. So please, if you don't have the money to outright donate, you've got to shop. Go to communitypayitforward.us, choose somebody that you can shop with, and you can support Hydro with Hope simply by turning in a receipt.
Yeah.
So, and the other way to do it is Halloween is over. And that means we have family get-togethers coming up, right, Steph?
We do. And I know you just flashed the QR code on the screen before, but if you're not on our Community Pay It Forward One Hope fundraiser page on Facebook, it's a group. That is where we highlight every single month these incredible organizations. You might be watching us from there right now. But if you're not on that page, definitely jump on there. It's a really simple way to connect and contact Zach and I if you have any questions or questions on supporting in any way. But if you want to support directly, you can open up the camera on your phone, hold it up to that QR code on the screen. It will take you directly to the One Hope Wine fundraising link to support this month. But like I said, you can support going forward as well. Once this event runs out, it doesn't mean that you can no longer support. You can select them as your cause partner going forward too. That's why I love our wine club, because every shipment supports the cause of your choice. But if you'd rather type the link right into your browser, it's the one right on the bottom there, onehopewine.com/event/ and that those digits right there on the bottom. I
was expecting you to end that. If you'd rather type in the link and everything, what is wrong with you? No, never mind.
But I'm really excited to share our Purchase with Purchase promotion for November, because it is truly that season now, you guys. Halloween is over and we're on to like Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of the holiday, and festivities. So I love that we have this promotion this month. What it is, the Purchase with Purchase, what it is when you add any half case to your cart, you will see this offer pop up for 50% off. And now you can add any wines to your cart to unlock this. You can mix and match any way you like. We do have curated packs on the website, but you don't have to choose that. You can literally put anything you like: red, white, sparkling, rosé, whatever you enjoy, throw that into your cart and you'll see this pop up. So with this 50% off promotion, we have our Sonoma Chardonnay, our California dessert wine, and our sparkling Moscato. So I'll tell you a little bit about them. I'll start with the Chardonnay. So literally our website really gives good descriptions on all the wines. pairing examples and suggestions, the tasting profile, all of that. But if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Say, hey, Stephanie, I normally drink this. What do you suggest? And I would be more than happy to help you and make some good recommendations. It could be overwhelming. We have a lot of wines on the website. So, all right, let's jump in. So our reserve Chardonnay is from the Sonoma Coast AVA in Sonoma, California. This rich and elegant wine presents bold and fruity flavors of green apple and bright lemon that meets with a hint of lime and crushed slate. There's another fun tasting profile there for you, Zach. I know you'd like to make comments on these. So this one has notes of green apple, lemon, lime, and crushed slate, and it pairs well with macadamia crusted pan-seared halibut. Wow, I can't believe I was able to spit that out. Mexican street corn and lemon cream pie. So this is a reserve Chard. It's delicious. If you like Chardonnay, definitely check this one out. But we do have several different Chardonnays on our website. So depending kind of what you're looking to pair it with, we have a few to choose from. But this is part of that 50% off trio. All right. So next up is our California dessert wine. And I know
desert wine.
Zach calls it desert wine. This one is really heavy, like a port style wine. I would not pour a full glass of this personally. Some people do, but it's really, very, very heavy and sweet. In my opinion, that's kind of how I take it. It's not like the wine you drink with dinner. It's, just as sweet as the cheesecake or something that you're kind of pairing it with, right? So our reserve dessert wine is from California, but made in a unique style that originates from Portugal. So this wine is fortified with grape spirits to capture the fruit and sugar from the grapes harvested at peak maturity, giving the not desert wine, but the dessert wine, because you're making me want to say desert now.
I'm sorry.
A tantalizing profile. Isn't this fun hanging out with us, Jeff? So this one has notes of toffee, tobacco, florals, dark plum, and sweet cherry. So you compare this with a slice of rich cheesecake, a selection of dark truffles, or a sampling of blue cheese. So this is definitely your dessert wine. Super, super sweet.
I see the bowl of ice cream and I'm just sitting here.
I'm kind of drooling right now. Thanks, Stephanie. This is
and I know that you always tell us that you're not, you don't know much about the making of it or whatever. Do you know how they why it's so thick, what they do, why is most wine thinner and then this one is thicker? Do you know?
So I'm not familiar with exactly their processes with making this, but I do know that they cultivate the grapes when they are the most sugary, like at their sweetest peak. And I know that through different varietals, our winemakers really do a wonderful job of watching those grapes and like harvesting them at those right times. And that varies, from rosé to Cabernet to, the different varieties. So this one I guess the process, it's just a super, super sweet wine. I have one here. It's tough for me to drink alone because you open that up and it's like you need a lot of people to share it with. So,
well, sugars are heavier, so I mean, I can definitely see that. So,
but it's a great addition to your Thanksgiving dessert table. So, it's a fun addition that you get to try it at 50% off with this trio. So,
wow, what a great idea!
Whoa.
I know you're familiar with the sparkling Moscato, Zach. I know it's one of those favorites for you. You like the sweet sweet bubblies. I know he's turning around looking at his wine rack right now.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I've got my Her Story still up there, the Her Story Moscato. So, yeah.
Oh, I think that is, yeah, that's like a sparkling brut that you have up there. I
Oh,
think.
is it? Okay.
But sparkling Moscato. So if you like sweet wine,
Oh,
we have a still Moscato, but we also have this sparkling. And so if you love bubbles, it is, you're really small on my screen, Zach. So if you're showing me something I can't see, but I'll share.
Hey.
Hold on. Now I need to open this up and see what I'm looking at here. Show me again.
Yep. I've got the Moscato right here, the same bottle.
Ah, perfect. So, we should have had you drinking that one tonight for the show.
Oh, if I wasn't on the medication, I would do that. Maybe I can do it on the midway show.
Possibly. Awesome. So, I know you're going to enjoy that one. So that is our sparkling Moscato, and it has enticing citrus blossom and juicy white peach aromas that blend effortlessly with a delicate sweetness and playful effervescence. They're killing me with these words, with these descriptions tonight. Lemon drop candy and tangy mandarin lead into a balanced finish. If you are a sweet wine lover, it is a delicious wine. And we do have a still version too, which doesn't have bubbles. This one has notes of citrus blossom, mandarin, lemon drop, and white peach. And it pairs well with blue cheese, peach cobbler, hot wings, spicy tuna roll, and quiche. So, my suggestion is just keep the gifting season in mind, because this is really a great way to give to this great cause while sending gifts across the country. We do ship across the US and they arrive really quickly, so you can support at the same time.
And then I keep telling you everybody, because it is true. They come beautifully packaged, and I mean, it is, and with a little book, and it's a wonderful. When you get one of those packages, it's like a kid being in a candy store.
I'll be sharing more about our gift giving guide on that page too on Facebook. So if you're not there, definitely jump on there, and I'll be sharing that too. So if you have any other gifting ideas, connect with me and I'd be happy to help.
And again, you can find all this information plus more on our Facebook page, or the easiest way to do it, the easiest way to do anything and get a hold of Stephanie is right there through her link tree. So just go to linktree/StephSamos. And if this is the best way to learn or get in contact with her, and just keep the giving going. This is a month for thanks, and we really need to thank a lot of these people who are doing these great things. Remember, not only does Jeff and Hydro with Hope get a donation every time that you buy a bottle, but you're also promoting clean water, education, food, and more. ONEHOPE Wines is not just a one-trick pony. Okay, they support nonprofits, and we're over. What is it?
10 million. We hit the 10 million mark recently. So we've donated over $10 million to date, which is it's a really cool milestone that we've hit.
That is, it is so neat.
That's amazing.
And I cannot wait until, we're able to say that this show alone has donated 10 million. So come on, folks, let's get started right here in November, and let's start with Hydro for Hope, or with Hope. And Jeff, I just cannot get past that 4. I just can't get.
You're not the only one. Don't feel bad.
So, but look, this is such a great cause. There are so many ways. Jeff, one of the things that we like to ask people, other than money, what can people help you by donating? I mean, obviously a book would be very special. To donate these books to someone else, that would be very, very special.
Sure.
Is there something else that people could donate maybe their time, maybe their expertise to you to help you advance forward?
Yeah, if people want to reach out, and we're still needing to we're still needing to revamp our website a little bit. We're still trying to do some things with that to make it a little more user friendly for people that want to come to expertise there. I'd love to kind of partner with that and see if we can work out something to get some help there. Or I don't know, honestly, one thing that I am in the process of signing up for, and it's not necessarily to directly benefit Hydro with Hope, but Hydrocephalus Association actually has a peer program, like a peer mentor program. So that's really cool. If anybody likes to do that kind of thing, for the hydrocephalus community in general, I don't have that tool yet. They do. So check that out. That's really cool. As far as us, I think the biggest thing is just finding more people that we can get their story out, finding more people that we can have on the show to get the word out about all these amazing people with these conditions. And as far as Hydro with Hope goes, I guess, there is one other thing that we're working on that if anybody else has expertise here, what's the idea, right? Not to know it all, but to know the people that know it all, right? Surround yourself with the people that know what to do. We're working on developing an app to do kind of some of the same things that we're trying to do as an organization in an app form. And we're also trying to get a coaching program off the ground so that I can in some form be able to help these families that are finding this out for the first time and be able to talk them through it and have a kind of an eyeball to eyeball experience with somebody that can help them. And so I don't know how to develop those. And so if there are people out there that know, I would love to piggyback on your experience and get help with that and get this off the ground so we can help more people.
Well, we are thrilled. We're excited, and I appreciate the education and the chance to get to talk to you again. Talking to you is so easy for me, and having you on this show is just it's a perfect way to show my appreciation for what you're doing for other people. Stephanie, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
The only thing that I didn't mention that I always do is for every $50 that we raise collectively as a group through One Hope Wine, which is approximately 2 cases, I'm going to donate another $25 to the cause. So nice. $75 donation, let's say, for every 2 cases of wine purchase, approximately, give or take, depending on the bottles that they select. So just want to throw that out there, and that's unlimited. So if we raise $100, that's another donation from me. I like to give back any way that I can with all the organizations that I work with. So, this is why Zach and I are such a great team. Because
please remember, this is coming out of her pocket. This isn't a bonus that One Hope throws in. This is coming out of Stephanie's pocket. And like she just said, this is the reason why we get along so well, because we can communicate in the same language. This show was built because there are people like Jeff out there. This show was built because there's people like Stephanie Berman out there who they've faced a challenge head on, and they're doing something to try to lessen the pain that everyone else is going to go through, the pain, the confusion, everything that goes with it. Okay. Yeah. And that is so important to Stephanie, to myself. And we really, really, really wish you all the best of luck, Jeff. We're going to talk to you again here in 2 weeks. And so if you've watched this show and you think that there's somebody who might benefit, Jeff's going to be back with us. And we're also going to have Stephanie Berman come back on the 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to be talking more about this because this is, again, this is important to me. This is meaningful to me because of my own personal journey. This is important to Stephanie because this affects children and her son. Although different affliction, it still talks to you because it's still a childhood affliction. And look, our thing is and with what we've been talking about this whole time, one of the things that I learned when I did my egg break was, we don't need to know you to care. We just need to know that you need help. Please reach out to people. Please make sure that you do your best. And if you know somebody who's in need, help them out, folks. Look, it doesn't take a whole lot to help people. And please remember, love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Okay? Look, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. Please take care of yourself. We're all we got. For Stephanie, for Jeff, and for myself, Zach Clayton of Community Pay It Forward, I'd like to thank you for joining us. And we'll see you again next week I'll see you again next week with Les Simpson. And we'll see you two both here in 2 weeks. Yeah, Jeff.
Can I just say something real quick?
Please.
I know you're closing out the show, and I just want to make sure I say this. Stephanie, you are amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for being all part of this and doing this. This is amazing, and I'm so thankful to you to be here and to be associated with you in this way. This is phenomenal. And Zach, like you said, brother, I can't wait to talk again. And you're right. We always have a good time. So but thank you. I cannot thank you enough. I am always thrilled and humbled and honored to be able to get the word out about what needs to get the word out about. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this. This has been great. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
Absolutely. Folks, we will be back. Once again, I'll be here next week with Mr. Les Simpson. But for now, do me a favor, scroll down. Actually, you might have to scroll up. I can't remember. And you can watch last week's episode with Publio, honoring our heroes, both country and community. We got another friend of ours, Daniel from Rescue Residents. And I don't know if you've heard his great news, but it is fantastic. So he got quite a bit of funding to build a community. So and it's so well deserved. We've also got another Air Force veteran on with Diamond Drip. It's a wonderful show. We had a good time. So please scroll up and watch that. Coming up after that is this week's episode of Footprints Forward. Stick right here on the PAC channel. If you have a podcast that is uplifting, that brings joy to people, that works hard to help others, contact us. We'd love to have you on the channel. And once again, all you got to do is hit that funny little box right in my square with my funny little face in it, and it's going to take you to all my contact information. We can get you on the PAC channel. You can share your information and more. So, but again, my name is Zach, president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care. For Jeff, for Steph, have a great week. Please take care of each other. We're all we got. What else are you going to do? So thank you all.